right? So evaluate expression, just plug the variable in. Let's do the second one. If I plug in the -3, 2 times -3 plus 3 plus 5 minus 3 times -3. You know, this one will probably cause more trouble because there's definitely the absolute value is going to come into play. There's negatives times negatives and subtracts and everything going on. So this is -6 plus 3 plus 5 minus 3 times -3 means plus 9. So this is the absolute value of -3 plus the absolute value of 14, which is 3 plus 14, 17. Now what I want to show you is you can do these kinds of problems in the calculator. And I really highly recommend you learn how to use your calculator to evaluate expressions, because it won't make mistakes like, should I have squared the negative or something like that. It's going to get all that stuff right. I know we talked about this a little, but we haven't talked about it in a while. So let's look at this. If I want to evaluate, let's say, the second expression using the calculator, understand that first, the calculator needs to understand the value of the variable, right? In this case, the variable equals -3. And I can even use the z. I think the z is on the 2 there. So this is how you store a value for a letter, right? -3. This STO, which is right here, store, it gives you a little right arrow there. And then I'll say alpha z. Enter. Okay, so we should know how to store values for letters in the calculator. Then we need to type the expression in. Now you may not know, where do you find absolute value? Absolute value is in the math menu, right? Math. And if you arrow over to the num, the first option is absolute value. I believe on these 84s, which we're using, not the 83s. If somehow you had to use an 83 because somebody was using an SOL or something, I think you can do alpha window, and it brings up this menu of a few things that are maybe more used than not. So the absolute value comes up right away there. Alpha window. So there's 2 different ways to get at this thing. Whichever way you do it, bring up the absolute value, put the 2z plus 3 inside, 2 alpha z, oh, that was wrong, alpha z plus 3, get out by right arrowing out of the absolute value. Then we've got a plus, bring up the absolute value again, and we got to put 5 minus 3z. 5 minus 3 alpha z. And then right arrow out of that. There you go. Now the calculator will evaluate it. And it'll do all the order of operations. It'll make sure you're using the absolute value in the right way. But I just say this was like the most missed problem on their 4.5-week assessment. I imagine it would have been if we did it too. But it's something that we have tools to do it and to get it right every time if we know how to do it. I mean, the fact is, you could do the quadratic formula that way. You could store A, B, and C and then type the quadratic formula and have it solve an equation for you. Okay, so there's a whole lot you can do if you know how to do this one thing in the calculator.